with you, you could very easily send a message to everybody. And obviously emergency notifications to people who are either in or coming to. So there's, again, it's an easy way to send information to your guests. The auto event messages can be sent automatically, and they're included in both the light and the complete. Again, in the light, they're only email messages. You can send a reservation, a message based on the reservation date that it was created. And this is new with us. We got this from some requests from our clients. It is not available today, but it is in final beta testing. So after you make a reservation, if you wanted to, you could send a message, an email, to say thank you for your reservation. We've also set up so that if the VRA has not been signed, you could send an automated message back to the guest saying your VRA is not signed. Please make sure you send it to us. And the other thing that you can do is if your travel insurance has not been paid for, you could send an automated email that says, hey, your travel insurance hasn't been paid for, and you can do this based on number of days after you make the reservation. So this last one actually is potential revenue enhancer for you. It makes an awful lot of sense from a guest standpoint and for your standpoint for those guests to get travel insurance. Then you can also send a note or an email based on the check-in date, the check-out date. When they make a payment, if you want to just say thanks for the payment, we really appreciate it, you can send that. And then when a reservation is canceled, maybe just to confirm with a guest, hey, your reservation was canceled. We just want to make sure that you realize that it was canceled. Some continued things that you can do, just some ideas that our clients have given us. Maybe an advance notice prior to check-in. Don't forget to bring items to pack, linens or whatever. Maybe an advance day notice before arrival with key code information. Maybe a day after reminder with a guest survey, or just a reminder if you've got any questions, give us a call. A reminder for trash pickup days. Maybe a survey sent out somewhere around your checkout day. Maybe a survey a week after your checkout. And then you could, if you wanted to, think about how could you send things out to guests during a course of a year. Maybe throughout the year you can automatically send a text or an email to your guests and offer them a discount or something. Say, hey, tell your friends, whatever. But just, again, the idea is we're trying to help you communicate with your guests on a regular basis. Okay, what did I do here? Did I get that? Brittany, can you see that?
Yeah, it's highlighted blue. I think if you just click along the side, it'll go away.
There we go. Okay, manual event messages. I sort of mentioned this in the past, but again, anytime that you want to send a message, you can send this manual event. And one of the things that are nice about this is that you can schedule it for now or for later. So again, if you had fireworks on Wednesday night, you wanted to make sure that 6 weeks down the road, you reminded everybody that there were fireworks Wednesday night, you could send them an event message for those fireworks. Again, a lot of flexibility in this. I think I went through this one already. Am I doing that? Yeah. These auto event messages, I've been through this. I'm going to continue. You're welcome. Brittany, am I going backwards?
You are. You're going backwards.
How am I going?
Just move your mouse over to the other side of the screen, and you'll go forward.
Sorry, but it shows you how much I know about what this is. I knew I had said this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Maureen Reagan, and I think Maureen's on the call, and thank you, Maureen, for helping me with this. These are some of the things that Maureen uses Welcome Home for. And she says, and to a T, every single person who is using this has said, this is really cool. Our guests really love to get this information. And when using Complete, you can do it both as an email and or a text. So it's really exciting, and the guests are getting a lot of really good information about this. I won't go over it, but you should be able to read this. And then Ellen Garris, and I'm not sure if Ellen's on this call today, but Ellen Garris of Sun Surf Realty also uses this. And she says, in the bottom, we've received only positive guest feedback. And you can determine, again, the idea and the really exciting thing about this is that it gives you a lot of different functionality so that you can determine how is it that you want to communicate with your guests. You know, it used to be that you made a phone call on the reservation day and then hopefully people showed up on the right day. Well, today with locks and everything else, there is so much information that that the guest needs to know, and there's so many easy ways to help manage this. Okay, what I guess I will do, we can ask questions. I think what I'd like to do, if anybody's got any questions, Brittany, you explain how to ask questions, and then I'm going to go into the guest access and the admin console and show it how it actually works, how Welcome Home actually works.
Perfect. Yeah, there is actually a question feature in GoToWebinar in your little control panel that GoToWebinar pops up when you log on. There's a little questions tab down there. Just feel free to type those in and I'll ask those to Mike at any point during the webinar. And Mike's going to move into the show and tell portion of this, which I think is really awesome. And I think a lot of our clients are really going to love this because, you know, the thing that you said that stood out to me the most was the fact that this is something that every single one of our clients has access to. Everyone has access to the Welcome Home Lite features. So use them, use them to make your busy season a lot easier. That was the whole goal with doing Welcome Home when I chose to do it, because I just thought, this is such a great tool for rental managers. I mean, if I was a rental manager, I would not want to have to auto send all of these emails, I would want them to all auto send instead of having to manually send all of those emails. So that's really great that you mentioned that everybody has Welcome Home Lite. And if you want the more robust version with the texting and all that kind of stuff, then Mike's the man who knows about all that stuff. So
thanks, Brittany. Just as a reminder, we do have hooked emails, and the hooked emails work, and they work very, very well. And there's a lot of things that you can do with the hooked emails. For those, this gives you a little bit more flexibility, and it also gives you the ability to text. So I'm going to show you the Welcome Home Complete, and this is, when a guest logs in, they're going to be able to manage their reservation. This is all normal. All your guests will get this. What I'm going to do is I've got one of these reservations is a Welcome Home Complete, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. So this is what your guest would see. And by the way, just an FYI, this is a smart login. So this is a responsive site. So you can use it for your smartphone or you can use it for your computer. So with a smartphone or a computer, what you see is this is pretty normal here. Everybody will see this. But what you don't see in the regular one is a map. So you can actually map your vacation, and this is what your guest will see. Your guest can see mapping this vacation. Then you have your sign your lease agreement, travel insurance. That all shows up as it would normally do. But what you have extra here is some Welcome Home information. This check-in information is unique to Welcome Home. Your property details is pretty much the same with everybody, but now you can look at photos. And one of the cool things about this is that you can create links to restaurants. This is an icon, and I'm going to show you how these are set up. But you could search for your local Denny restaurants or your Sugar Shack Donuts. If you're not in Richmond, Virginia, you probably don't know what Sugar Shack Donuts are, but they seem to be the rave. Everybody loves Sugar Shack Donuts. To me, they're just big, fat Dunkin' Donuts, but that's another issue. Local churches. So you've got local churches. So these things you can all put in your Welcome Home tool for your guests to see, and I'll show you how that's all done. Area information. Again, you can link to an aquarium or, again, restaurants or anything that you want. You can link here, again, additional tools for your guests. Also allows the guest to text you from here. It'll send an email message and you can respond it, and it will respond right to your guest. So they can send a message to you anytime they want.
Now, Mike,
another really cool thing, yep.
Sorry to interrupt you, but this actually goes with a question that we got from Chris just a second ago. They said, when you send a manual message to a guest, if they reply, does it come back into a welcome home for the staff, or does the reply go to an actual email address?
It'll go to an actual email address.
Perfect.
It pushes to an email address that you will set up for, I'm not sure if it's unique for Welcome Home or if it's the one that you normally use to respond, but it will come to a unique email address.
Awesome.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
The other thing that I think is pretty cool, if you have a husband and wife, or if you have multiple families, then you can add names by which they will then send information to. Now, at the present time, it does not link back into your admin console, but that's something that we are working on, and it will link back. So you'll be able to have these people and be able to market to them eventually. But right now, it is just here. So when a message comes to this particular reservation, you can add as many people as you want. So that's the basic functionality, or that's all the functionality that we have with Welcome Home Complete. Now, let me go to if there's any questions, go ahead. If not, I'm going to go to the admin console.
Yeah, we don't have any right now.
So that either means everybody's asleep, I'm doing a really, really good job, or whatever. But anyhow. So if you want to find your Welcome Home, you go to your sysconfig, go to your reports, and your Welcome Home dashboard, and view. And like I said, everybody has that. Now, there is some configuration that you need to do with Office and property configuration. That's something that we can talk to you about. You can ask for help with our support team. They'll be happy to show you. What I'd like to show you is the categories. And this is, remember I showed you before bakery and churches and all of that. You can create in VRM, you've got an icon set, and here's all your icons if you want. You can use all of these icons if you want. You remember I showed you the church and I showed you the restaurants. Well, there's a whole bunch of icons. So you could create an icon, you create a title, choose your icon, and then this is where you will fill things in. And you could put in hyperlinks and all of that, and you would then create a category. And so when you set up the property configuration, you'll set up those categories to go into those individual properties. And one of the nice things is that Welcome Home is property-based. That's very important. So when you send information, it's going to be based on what's going on with that particular property. So if you want to send a message that says 4 days after arrival, this is trash day, or 3 days after arrival is trash day, that will all be property-based. So you can send up these messages based on each property. So let me come and show you how do you set this up. Some of the rules that we have. You can have, we're going to call these categories, and they're nothing more than a sorting and filtering feature. So you can create an administrative, financial, or marketing category. You can send this by either email or text. And so a couple of things here. You can send it when a reservation is created. Maybe you want to send something 2 days after the reservation is created saying thank you. Or this additional criteria, you can set this up that the VRA is not signed, or your travel insurance. Use that criteria, put your information here, put the subject, and save your rule. And then you would end up assigning that rule or that particular, that rule to the individual properties. You can also do this on check-in and also set up for housekeeping. So one of the things that you can do with this, which is really pretty exciting with a housekeeping one, you can set this up so that if 2 hours before check-in, you wanted to automatically send a guest a text saying their property is available, As soon as the property is set as cleaned or ready for occupancy, one of those two, whichever one is the one that you're using, it will automatically send a text to the guest. And that's pretty cool. If at the time of the reservation the property's not ready, you could automatically send a guest saying something to the effect, hey, we're really sorry, but the property is not ready yet. We will send you a text when the property is ready. And then you could send another type of subject where you could say, after the reservation for 2 hours, after the check-in time, if the reservation, if the property is finally ready, you could say something, hey, sorry this is late, but your property is now available. So again, there's a lot of functionality in this and a lot of flexibility. Also do it on checkout. So if you wanted to send something the day before checkout, the day of checkout, the day after checkout, send surveys, that kind of thing, you can do that. Any payments that are made, anytime a payment is made, you could send an email or a text saying, thank you for your payment. By the way, we have tags. Just wanted to remind you, you have tags here, so you'd automatically put in the reservation information and the payment amount. So this one, for this payment received, you could say, thank you for your payment of X amount of dollars. Just wanted to make sure that you made this payment, et cetera, et cetera. However you want to do that. But again, very flexible. And then also when your reservation is canceled, you know, if a reservation is canceled, you may or may not, the guest may or may not, you know, maybe something happened improperly or by accident. So it might be nice to send a note to the reservationist and say, hey, just wanted to let you know that you indeed did cancel your reservation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's, I think, from a standpoint of, oh, by the way, one more thing, you've got manual messages. And these manual messages can be, emergency have to be sent immediately, but these other marketing message, financial, administrative, they can be sent at any time. You can send those any time that you want. And I think that's pretty much all that you're going to see. Again, there's a configuration here. That'll just take some time to set those properties up. But Brittany, I think that's about all there is to Welcome Home. It's very easy to use, very easy to set up. I think the people that, like we said, Maureen and Ellen have said to us that they absolutely love it. Please feel free to, if you want to know how to use Welcome Home Lite, by the way, there is information in the knowledge base on all of this, so that you could use that. But if you've got questions, let Brittany know, or I'm sorry, let the help desk know, or you can send an email to me, and I will be happy to help you out.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out a couple of little things that I really love about Welcome Home that I think could be really great marketing tools for people. You know, when you mentioned that there were ways that you can add multiple guests to a reservation, sometimes you get family reunions where you have multiple heads of household that are all making separate payments and things like that, and it can get very confusing. But with those auto messages, you have the ability to capture all of those emails and capture all of that marketing information, so that if people really like your area, you have the ability to get their information. And like you said, we're working on getting that all lined up with the admin console and everything, which is awesome. You know, and the other thing is, you know, if you have a late check-in thing, one time I heard Pete talking about Welcome Home and just thought this was so brilliant. I just wanted to bring it up. But he said, you know, if you've got a house that's not ready when it's supposed to be checked in, and you want to send the guest a little note, and you want to, you know, have a relationship with some of the other restaurants in your area, and you say, hey, go have a free crab dip on us, and you have a relationship with that restaurant, knowing the guest is going to go there and get an appetizer and probably end up eating a whole meal, you could arrange something that way so it's actually good for both you and the guest. So I just thought that was really interesting. But I did get a couple of questions that maybe you can answer for us. Patty says, so would you just copy and paste a tag into the body of the note, going back to where you put the tags for the reservation ID and things like that into the email?
Yes. So you're talking about when, Patty, you're talking about when you set this up?
Yes, when you set up that email.
Yeah, when you're setting up the event message, you would copy and paste the tags in here into that message. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I'm getting another question from Ginny. She said, we currently use Voice Shot for sending out text messages, um, for departure instructions and trash can rollout and things like that to the guest's cell phone's number. Can this be done in event messages, or would you have to have it done in the property configuration?
You would set it up in the property configuration, but you would do it in the event message. So the event message would say 3 days after arrival, 4 days after arrival. You would have those event messages, and then you would set that each one of those in that individual property. So if you've got a property that is Wednesday, which is 4 days after arrival, you would put that email. And I will say, at this particular point, we don't have the ability to put it on a day. So I can't say Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. That's coming, but it's down the road. For now, it would be 3 days after arrival or 4 days after arrival. So you would set that up as an event, and then you would assign that event to the individual properties. Does that make sense, Brittany?
Perfect. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that can be a really useful tool. One of the things that I really loved was that you mentioned on the slides was that you can actually send lockbox codes, so you don't have to make contact with every single guest. You can send them their lockbox code so that if they're checking in after hours, you don't have the chaos of trying to give them a code for the box to get their key, then to go someplace and all that other stuff. It can really streamline the process and make things feel really pulled together to the guest, to makes it kind of elevates you to the next level, in my opinion, and the emails, same thing, being able to send marketing emails and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Brittany, I think the idea is, much of this you have in hooked emails, but the advantage of Welcome Home is, how cool would it be to automatically send if your check-in time is 4 o'clock, to automatically send, just as a reminder to all of your check-ins, here is the lockbox code, and it goes right to their phone as a text. It's not going to be stuck in 100 emails that you've gotten over the past day, because everybody looks at their texts.
Exactly.
So the advantage of this is you get this text just sitting right there saying, hey, here's your lockbox code. Here's your information that you need. It really provides an additional level of service that you can't find anyplace else.
That's exactly right. And Chris had another question. What is the cost per text?
Okay, I will tell what the cost of this is. It's going to cost $500 to set up, and then we're going to charge you $99 a month plus 50 cents per property. And the text, however many texts, Chris, you use, are included. So we're not going to charge you on a per text. We're going to charge you on a per property. So, whatever those texts are, you can use as many texts as you want. We will manage the cost of the texts.
Awesome. And I got a question from Lisa Roberts that said,
hey, Lisa, how are you?
Do you have to manually text lock codes, or do they pull in from the reservation?
They'll pull in from the reservation. The codes are right in there, and I'll show you really quickly. My screens tend to disappear on me.
That's okay. It happens to everyone.
Right there, Lisa, key code. So that's a tag that you've got in our system, in VRM system, and you put that key code right in. So that'll automatically. And I will also say, just for all that, and I'm stealing just a speck of thunder from Brittany, next month we're going to have Point Central. And Point Central is somebody who does locks and smart home technology. And they, using companies like Point Central, CABA, some of those others, really give you the opportunity so that if lock numbers change, if a guest comes in late or wants to come in early or stay a day late or something like that, those lock codes are going to change, and you'll be able to send the most accurate key code lock to that guest that particular day.
I totally don't mind that you stole my thunder right there because I was just going to mention that we were going to talk about that too. So that's perfect that you mentioned that. I'm really excited to have Point Central on next month. And they're going to be talking all about how smart homes can make your life so much easier, and how much money it can actually save you having a smart home in your rental program versus having somebody on staff that runs around trying to find everything and do everything and get everything lined up. So it's going to be a really exciting webinar next month to have us on for Point Central. But
why can't I see that? What am I doing wrong here?
You have to pull up those slides that you had in the beginning.
Gotta find them. I don't know where it is.
That's okay. Well, we're no worries.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Perfect.
No, we don't.
No?
Oh, wait a minute.
Sometimes it can be a little interesting trying to find all this.
This is me. It's her technology, and I'm trying to make it work. So you go ahead and talk, and I'll see if I can figure out how to hook it up.
That's fine. It's no problem. We don't really need the slide. It's no worries. You can find all of those links if you go to virtualresortmanager.com and you look under the About Us section. We have a whole Tea with Brittany Lee page, and it's got all of the registration links, for all of our webinars are right there. So yeah, you can always go check that out, and I send lots of emails to let people know what the registration information is, and also we put it up as a little banner in your admin console, so you can always find the link. And if all else fails, you can always email me directly, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. And I just want to say thank you again so much, Mike, for coming on today. It was just a real great pleasure having you on here. I love how easy it is to talk to you and how personable. And I just want to take a second and thank everybody again for coming on to Tea with Brittany Lee, and just make a little mention of the fact that if you have topic ideas or things that you'd really like for us to cover in Tea with Brittany Lee, please be sure to send those my way, because it can be really intimidating trying to pick a bunch of topics and get guests lined up and thinking, oh gosh, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if this is what people want to hear about. So send me your thoughts and your feedback. I really love hearing from you guys. You guys have been so supportive, and I just really appreciate that. This was definitely stepping out of the box for me when I started the Tea with Brittany Lee adventure. So I'm really glad to have had you all on this little adventure with me, and I hope that you'll all join me again next month for Tea with Brittany Lee when we meet with Point Central on April 14th. Thanks, Mike, for coming on today.
Thanks, Brittany. Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it very much. It was a ball.
Thanks. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.